Minasan konnichiwa. Hi, and welcome to Delta College Impact. I'm Roger Waller, your host for today's show. And today we're going to talk about a special, unique sister city program that Stockton has with Shimizu in Japan. And Shimizu is one of the nice cities in Japan that we have a relationship with. And one of our instructors, counselors here at Delta College has joined some students who traveled to Japan earlier this summer. And we have a reciprocal visit of Japanese students to Stockton that is occurring right now. And you will be seeing some of the students who went on the trip and also some of the students who are visiting us here today from Japan. Now let me introduce my two guests right off the bat, and as you can see to my left is Janice Takahashi. Janice is one of the counselors here at Delta College, and to Janice's left is Mark Herrera, a student at Stagg High School who joined Janice on the trip to Japan. Well, Janice, welcome to Impact, and maybe you can talk a little bit about what the Sister City program is all about.
The Sister City program basically has two groups that visit Shimizu, Japan. The first group is a group of high school students, and then the second group is a group of adults from Stockton. This year, I think, has been the 14th year that we've sent teenagers to Shimizu. And then shortly after we return, there's going to be an adult group that visits Shimizu.
And Shimizu is one of the sister cities of Stockton, and there are others that are located around the world, but I think it's kind of unique to see students get the chance to travel to these cities. And Mark, how were you selected to be one of the students traveling to Shimizu?
Well, first I heard about it at school, and there was an announcement, and then I went and talked to one of the teachers at school, and we had to fill out an application, write an essay, and then there was an interview to narrow it down to the final 5 of us that went.
Now, you had never been to Japan, or had you been out of the United States before?
I had never left the country, no.
So this was your first opportunity to go international and sign up for a passport and do all those good things?
Oh, yeah.
Now, Janice, had you been to Japan before?
This was my third trip to Japan, so it's my first trip to Shimizu. Usually I stayed in Tokyo and the other larger cities, but this was my first time to Shimizu. And each time you go to Japan, it's a little bit different depending on the area that you go to. It's just like the difference between New York City and Illinois and Stockton. There's a certain regional flavor for each of the cities.
And we're going to be showing you some pictures of the trip to Japan later in this half of the program. But Mark, when you said go to Japan, did you just want to get out of the country, or what was it that said I wanted to go for this trip?
I've always really enjoyed traveling. My whole life. My mom's side of the family is from Pennsylvania, and every year we've gone biannually to go back and visit them. So it's always been an interest to me to go and travel around and meet different people, experience different things, and eat a lot of different foods.
Now, I know we were talking a little bit before the program. What was it that you expected when you got to Japan?
I expected the food to be really good.
And what did you find when you got there?
Oh, I ate everything. I loved it. I loved all the food. I got sushi, octopus, anything. They put it in front of me, I ate it. It was great.
What was your favorite now?
Teriyaki.
Oh, is that right?
That's right.
Now, Janice, when you went to Japan, what did the students have the opportunity to do when they were on the visit?
They had a general program planned by the City Hall. We went to the Port City Festival. We danced in the streets for 3 hours at night in their dance festival.
And we're looking at some of the pictures that are of the students who went on the trip. And Janice, you might explain a little bit about who's in the picture.
These were the students from Stockton, and the gentlemen that you see in the picture with us are City Hall officials, and the middle gentleman is the mayor of Shimizu, Miyagashima-san.
And you were in Japan for how many days?
We were there about 10 days.
And this looks like, Mark, this must have been one of your favorite sites. What's going on? Is that in a restaurant?
It looks like it, yeah.
This was actually the host family that my daughter stayed with, eating typical lunch of soba. And this was the street dance festival that I told you about. The whole city of Shimizu, it looked like, turned out to dance on the main streets all the way through till 9 o'clock at night. We all did different types of dances that are very current to the Shimizu city people. And the next picture you see is actually another festival at one of the local high schools where all the students and families get together and do traditional Japanese dancing.
Now, Mark, were you a dancer in this program as well?
Yeah, I danced. They were very repetitive dances, so you could pick up on them as you went along.
Mm-hmm. And I guess you had an opportunity to get outside of the city. And Mark, what's this picture all about?
This is whenever we climbed Mount Fuji. We went I think about halfway up or 2/3 of the way up.
Actually 1/5.
That was only 1/5?
And I almost had a heart attack at that.
Oh, wow.
Now, how large of a city is Shimizu? It's about the same size as Stockton?
A little bit larger.
Uh-huh. Boy, there's some lovely pictures. Is this on the way up Mount Fuji?
This is one of the waterfalls at the lower base of Mount Fuji.
Now, Mark, when you were there, were you surprised to see all the greenery and the waterfalls and such?
Yeah, it looked a lot like Pennsylvania, actually. Just different kinds of trees.
Yeah. Now, one of the things, I guess, when you start to think about the trip and the organization, now, Jan, when you stayed with a family, did everyone have a chance to stay with families in Japan?
Every student and myself stayed with host families, and they were very, very hospitable, very gracious, and really made an effort to go out of their way to make us feel comfortable and well hosted.
Now, what do you remember about your family that you stayed with, Mark?
They were perfect. At first, I stayed with a girl, and at first I was a little iffy about staying with a girl. But as it turned out, over the first couple of days, I just fit right in. It was just like I was a big brother.
Mm-hmm. And so, was it like a couple? And was the girl about the same age as you, or
she was 16, Sayaka.
A high school student as well?
Mm-hmm.
Terrific. Now, what did you learn by the experience of living in a Japanese family home? How different was it than, say, living at home here in Stockton?
It wasn't really all that different. The house I stayed in was very Western. There was many of the amenities we find here. They even had the Western-style toilet. I was a little scared of having to use the Japanese toilet when we got over there. But
now, what did you bring back for your parents, and what sort of gifts did you bring back with you from Japan?
I brought a lot of fans, and I brought a couple of dolls. You know, those really fancy dolls with the girls in the kimonos and everything.
Mm-hmm. Now, Janice, what did you bring back for your husband? See, this is always that trick question.
Well, he is a T-shirt collector, so definitely from Mount Fuji, I bought T-shirts, and then I visited some of the well-known museums there and bought T-shirts back. And also, he's a lover of Japanese art, so I bought a few pieces of artwork back for him.
Now, of the 10 days, if we go back, to the arrival and the 10 days that you spent in Japan, how many days did you spend in Shimizu, and how many did you spend traveling around Japan?
Most of our stay was in Shimizu because it was not just a vacation type trip, but it was also a sister city camaraderie and little ambassador type trip. So most of the time we stayed in Shimizu. Mount Fuji is about 2 hours drive from Shimizu, so we did go out of town for that one. And then we had a couple of days where they were called free days, where our host families got to take us to different places that were not scheduled. And both of those days I did go out of Shimizu to different museums.
Mm-hmm. Now, Mark, were you always in a group, or did you have a chance on a couple of those free days to go with your host family to different places?
I've traveled a lot with the family. It was one of my favorite things, was just to be with them. They were very gracious, very nice. We went and toured an art heritage style museum, and you could make different crafts. I made a little bamboo basket, and Sayaka made a little pinwheel. It was just, my favorite thing of the whole trip was just being with the family and getting to know them.
Now, what were some of the other experiences of the other students as they talked with you about their host family? Anything that you remember about what they said about the host family that they stayed with?
I think they all had really good times, just like I did. From what I hear, they they did a little more shopping than I did.
Were all the students from Stagg High School, or did they come from around the area?
Mark's the only one from Stagg High School. The other 4 students were from Lincoln High School. Because at Lincoln they actually teach Japanese, so the word was quickly spread through the Japanese classes.
Now, that's a good question, Mark. I mean, I assume you didn't speak any Japanese before going over there.
Nope.
Now, do you speak any coming back?
Just a couple of useful phrases like, you know, hello, goodbye, konnichiwa, sayonara, stuff like that.
Yeah. And so is this perked your interest in Japanese history, and are you going to follow up on this experience?
Definitely in the culture, but I don't know about the language. It's kind of funny. I was joking with my Spanish teacher because I took 5 years of Spanish and then I go to Japan. You know, that didn't really make a whole lot of sense. But as far as going back and wanting to learn the language, I think that'd be kind of tough, but I really want to get into their culture.
Yeah. Now, Janice, as the sister-city relationship goes, and you mentioned there were some duties and responsibilities that you had on this trip. What were some of the things that you had to do? And I guess you had a chance to, like you say, meet the mayor and some of the other city officials. What all was involved in some of your responsibilities?
Well, the first day that they had a group activity planned was actually meeting the City Hall individuals, meeting with the mayor, presenting our, what you call in Japanese, it's called omiyage, which are presents that you bring from your country. And Delta College and City Hall got together and presented a really nice engraved wooden plaque to the mayor. I had 2 interviews with 2 individuals from City Hall who wanted to find out more information about our soccer teams, because the World Cup is going to be hosted in Japan in 2002.
Oh, they're already scouting our soccer team.
Right.
Well, we're about at the end of this segment, and what we're going to do is we're going to ask the 4 ladies who accompanied Mark to come up behind us on television here, and Janice will have a chance to introduce them. So, honest, if they get up and would come around here, that'd be terrific. So, one of the great things about it is these ladies also enjoyed the experience of Japan, just like Mark. And so one of the things that I think, maybe Janice, you can introduce the ladies as they come up behind us here.
This is Reiko Takahashi.
Oh, that sounds great. It sounds like it was a great experience for everyone, Janice and Mark. And if you will, you want to stay tuned on the second half of the program, as we're going to be talking with some Japanese students and an instructor from Japan about their experiences here in Stockton. So stay tuned. We'll be right back on more of our sister city relationship.
Future. Delta College. Classes begin August 12th.
Minasan konnichiwa. Hi, I'm Roger Waller, and this is Delta College Impact. And in today's program, we're talking about our sister city relationship with Shimizu, Japan. And on the first half of the program, you heard from Janice Takahashi as she talked a little bit about her experience as she took a group of 5 students to Japan to join in a sister city celebration. And on this half of the program, we're going to be talking about the reverse relationship of an instructor and 4 students who have come from Japan here to Stockton, California to enjoy some of our American sights and sounds. And let me welcome on the program our 2 guests for the second half of the program. And I'd like to introduce Mr. Jun Izuka, an instructor of English in Japan. And to Mr. Izuka's left is Koji Takamura, who is a student in Japan who has studied English for 5 years, and so we'll see how he does today on today's program. He'll do great. And remember, this is a great opportunity to hear about the experiences that they've had here in Stockton. Now, Mr. Izuka,
Yeah.
how were you selected to come to Stockton?
Yeah, I work in the junior high in Japan, and my principal recommended me, and I was selected here.
Is this your first trip to the United States?
Yes.
Terrific. And Koji, how were you selected to come to the United States?
I took part in speech contest, and I won that speech contest. And after I had speech and I had interview, and I selected. Yeah. This.
That's terrific. Now, what have been some of the things that have surprised you about the United States on your visit?
Yeah. Okay. One day, my mother in my homestay house took me to the supermarket, and I saw many vegetables and meats and snack and drinks. Everything is very large, especially the beef is very, very large. So I was very surprised at seeing that.
Oh, terrific.
Yeah.
And so as Janice Takahashi had mentioned in the first half, she had stayed with a family in Japan, and you're staying with a local family here in the United States?
Oh no, I'm staying in Harry Walker's house.
Uh-huh. Terrific.
Yeah.
And Koji, I guess you were staying with a family here in the United States as well?
I'm staying in Shelby Sugimoto's house. Yeah.
And what has surprised you most about the United States?
Every kind of food is very big, but very cheap. Yeah.
What have you enjoyed eating while you've been here?
No, hamburger.
Yeah.
Hamburger, pizza, hot dog. Yeah.
It's interesting. On the first half of the show, we're joined by Mark Herrera, who is a student at Stagg High School, and he enjoyed talking about food too. I think food is an international language. Now, when you have, what have you enjoyed most during your trip? I know you have traveled to various sites here in the area. What have you enjoyed the most?
I went to many kind of place. I went to Santa Cruz, and I went to Yosemite. I went to Lake Tahoe. I think everywhere is very beautiful, and I like it very much. And when I went to Lake Tahoe, I played with slot machine.
Yes, yes, I do too. Yes.
Yeah. I only had jackpot.
You had a jackpot? Really?
Slot machine.
I have to go with you next time. That is terrific. Wow, that is great.
Yeah.
Now, Koji, where have you enjoyed visiting the most?
Yosemite. Yeah. Very beautiful. Yeah.
What do you see that is different here than what you had expected, other than the food? Is Stockton similar to Shimizu?
Maybe similar as Shimizu, but the weather is comfortable for us because Shimizu is very humid, sweaty. So even in the night, we can sleep without air conditioner. And in Stockton, there are many trees, big trees. So this city is very beautiful, I think.
Oh, that's terrific. Yeah. Now, Koji, in Japan, what are some of the courses that you were taking? What are some of the courses you were studying in Japan?
I'm studying Japanese and science and Japanese historical and English. Yeah.
Will you be going on after high school to college?
Yes.
And what would you be majoring in college? What do you anticipate focusing on in college? What will your major be?
Oh, sorry, I don't know.
Oh, that's okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
And now, what do most of the students study when they go on to college?
That depends the student. If they want to be a teacher, they will going to educational college. But they want to study commerce, they will go to the commerce college. So it depends on the student.
Where would you anticipate Koji going? Have you talked with him?
Maybe commerce.
So going into commerce at
Yeah.
this point in time? What sort of work does your father do in Japan?
Oh, sorry, I don't know. Maybe, yeah.
Maybe you can help me a little bit.
お父さんはどんな職業
Ah, sorry. Engineer.
Oh, he's an engineer?
so-
Which company does he work for?
どのぐらい働いてるか
Oh, maybe 50, no, 20 years.
Oh, 20
Yeah.
years with the same firm? That's terrific. Now, have you always been a teacher since graduating from college yourself?
Yes.
And had your parents been teachers before?
Sorry?
Had your parents been teachers before, your father?
No. My father is my father is drawing some machines or some cars.
And so you are the first teacher in the
Yes,
family?
yes.
How have you enjoyed teaching as a career?
I've been enjoying teaching because I like teaching. When I taught something to the student, when he can understand, he is very glad too. So I like to see the student enjoyed studying. So
Yeah, no, that is terrific. Did you have a chance to talk with, I know you visited several schools here in Stockton. What sort of differences do you see in the education way it's done here in the United States versus Japan?
In Japan, students stay the same classroom and teachers move.
Oh.
But in Stockton, maybe teacher stays one classroom and student move. Maybe it is the difference between Japanese school and American school.
Oh, that's
I think.
true. Yeah, that is true. Now, Koji, would you like to come back to the United States?
Yes, I like American. Yeah, very good.
Yeah. Now, you were talking about the different types of food. Have you, did you experience any foods for the first time here? On the first part of the show, Mark Herrera talked about eating octopus and such, and I would imagine Mark had not had a chance to eat octopus before, but have there been any foods that you've had for the first time?
No.
No, so
No.
you've experienced the food
Yeah.
before.
Yes.
So we have to take you to some unique restaurants here in Stockton.
Yeah. Yes.
But have you been in a Japanese restaurant?
Yeah.
Are they similar? Is the food similar here in the United States as what you have in Japan, or are there a lot of differences?
He ate katsudon, and maybe it is the same as in Japan.
Well, that's good to know, because I've always wondered sometimes, you know, how much difference there might be in the food when you go into certain restaurants and such. Now, one of the things, I guess, as you look back at your experience here, what will you tell your friends about Stockton when you get back to Japan?
I think Stockton is very beautiful city, and people are very kind and warm-hearted, and everything is very wonderful, I think. And I want to take my friend to Stockton someday.
Oh, terrific.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great. Now, Koji, what will you tell your friends back in Japan about Stockton?
Very beautiful picture. Very many presents. Yeah.
Now, what sort of presents are you married? back?
No.
Oh, so now you have to take a lot more presents than somebody who's married here, I think. But when you, what sort of presents are you taking back for the family back in Japan?
Now I'm thinking about, but my father likes drinking, so some drinks.
Okay.
Or so,
good.
and for my sister and brother, I want to some buy T-shirts.
Terrific.
Yeah.
Koji, what are you going to be buying to take back to your family in Japan?
Tablecloth and many picture and
Yeah, no, that is terrific. Now, so you have made some purchases here in the United States. What have some of the other students purchased? Have they been buying any special gifts or anything like that?
I don't know, but maybe they bought many things.
Yeah, so that they have the opportunity. What we're going to do is we're going to ask our 3 students from Japan to come up here and stand behind us. And if you're interested in learning a little bit more about the Sister City program or even Delta College, we encourage you to contact Janice Takahashi here in our EOPS office. And you can call Janice at 954-5667, and Janice will be happy to talk with you about Delta College or our Sister City program with Shimizu and her trip over to Shimizu. Now, what we'd like to do is, could you introduce the 3 ladies behind us?
Yeah, this is Hiromi Taki, and this is Chisato Omura, and this is Midori Nakajima.
Well, welcome to Delta College Impact. And would you enjoy coming back to the United States?
Yes.
Oh, that sounds terrific. Well, we've certainly enjoyed having you on the program, and we want to thank you all for watching and learning a little bit more about our Sister City relationship with Shimizu, and we encourage you to watch future Delta College Impact programs. Thank you very much, and as we would say, sayonara.
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 Yes, sayonara.